Current times, where we have seen social media influencers swelling in number all over the world, I've had the pleasure of knowing one myself. My today's guest is Pegah. She has visited 31 countries and has a following of around 30,000 followers on Instagram. All this while managing a full-time job. Welcome, Pegah. We have talked about this interview for ages and finally it is happening.
We have, haven't we? I'm so excited to be here. And I'm so happy, and it's my pleasure to be, I guess, your first guest on this wonderful podcast that you're starting.
Pleasure is all mine. Starting this interview, the burning question: how did this journey start? Was that a conscious thing or happened over the time? When was the first time you traveled independently and thought this would be your life in the foreseeable future?
It was not a conscious decision by any means. Actually, the first time that I traveled with my parents when I was younger. Actually, my parents had the tendency to move around when I was younger. We lived in Italy, in Iran, we moved around, and then we came to Canada. And then we settled. The first time that I did a huge trip was in 2013 with my brother, where we did a 45-day Euro trip. And it was the start of it all. It was the first taste I got in traveling, and it was quite addictive. The feeling and the adrenaline rush you get from traveling, meeting people, especially when you do backpacking. It's quite a different experience than if you go to an all-inclusive resort.
For sure, yeah.
So for me, it was just, I was like a kid in a candy land, and I was so blown away by the experience that when I came back from that 45-day trip with my brother, which was very, very memorable, we went to Europe and visited, I want to say, 12 countries.
That's amazing.
In Europe. It was very intense, but it was really, really amazing. I came back and I just, that's kind of where it snowballed into me traveling more and more. And Instagram, becoming an influencer was definitely not something I intended or had set my mind on when I started traveling. It kind of organically came about because I love traveling and I also love photography, and I loved editing photos. The art of photography and traveling was a perfect marriage for me. And then I guess after traveling and then posting, creating a new account, the whole travel influencer thing was becoming a thing. I got a bit of traction just posting a few nicer photos from, I think my first trip was Tulum, Mexico that I went, and I officially, intentionally started posting photos to get some followers, and it became a really fun side hobby for me because aside from traveling, photography, creating, and the art of it, the creative aspect of it, the community, the travel community on Instagram was just a wonderful thing to be part of. Longtime friends from that community that you can go and visit and stay with, right? It's nice, but that's how it started.
Nothing like that. You were right on track, and they say you follow your passions and greatness follows you, right? And I think so you were passionate about traveling, so everything fell into the place. When I was contemplating on my first guest, I thought it has to be you, because the feat you have accomplished while managing a full-time job does need due diligence. Was there a time where you felt that traveling to a lot of countries and also managing a full-time job is little daunting, or you felt overwhelmed?
The traveling part and managing the job was not, but managing a social media account as an influencer. I don't even like to call myself an influencer. I was just a creator, content creator. Was definitely overwhelming. A lot of people don't realize that it's a lot of work trying to stay on top of a social media account posting every day, because there's a lot of thought and contemplation goes into creating a content. It's not just you take a photo and you post, right? Especially nowadays, there's a lot of with Instagram, you want to make sure your feed is pretty, it's cohesive, and everything is aligned, and you have your captions, your photos ready to go. So it does become quite time consuming trying to put all of that together and having a full-time job. It's kind of like having two full-time jobs. So definitely there has been times where I was like, this is too much, and it's taking away the focus from the traveling portion.
Yeah.
And continuously, even when you're traveling, you continuously have to think about your next content.
Oh yeah.
Where do I go? What do I shoot that would be interesting to my followers?
Yeah.
So it takes away from the experience of you traveling, because then you're not fully present.
Yeah, but you did a good balancing act. That's what matters, right? So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. Also, you're doing a great job. So in today's world, if I can be honest, everybody wants to be a travel blogger. If given a chance, I won't mind that either. But the biggest concern you face is managing the finances. You would have been at the crossroads too. How have you been able to handle that aspect?
Honestly, when you are a full-time traveler, not full-time traveler, sorry, you have a full-time job and traveling, as much you want to travel as much as possible within the 3-4 weeks vacation you have.
Yeah.
And traveling is expensive. I think it becomes a kind of a juggling act of like making sure you have a good plan of saving money and putting it towards those trips that you want to take.
Yeah.
And it's not always glamorous. I've stayed in hostels, I've stayed in dormitories. I had to budget my meals. It can get pretty rough at the beginning, especially. But I mean, a majority of the people who do this as a full-time thing, I'm not at the moment. I'm doing part-time. Their means of making an income out of becoming an influencer. Yeah. You can work with different brands, work with hotels, airlines, get free perks, as well as get paid for some of the content you create for them. Yeah. So you can, if you are really dedicated and smart about it, you can make enough money to pay off for some of these trips.
Okay. What you have said does make a lot of sense. Be smart, be active in what you do. You might be able to pull that through. And the information you have given would be useful for a lot of viewers who want to be travel bloggers.
I hope so.
You would create a lot of good memories, but there would be some scary ones like this one too. Do you remember the scary one where you were a little frightened and you felt a little overwhelmed?
This is it was frightening at the moment.
Yeah.
But looking back again, like all these frightening moments become funny when you look back, right? Because you're over, you're home safe. I think that one of the scariest one was after 45 days, my brother was graduating when we were in Europe, doing the Europe trip. My brother was graduating like 3 days after we were supposed to head back home. Yeah. And we were catching a connecting flight from Paris to Porto, which is in Portugal. Yeah. And we ran late, and it was all down my fault. I would take the blame. We ran late. Yeah. We got stuck behind the gates, and we missed our flight our connecting flight to Porto to catch it back to Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we missed the flight, and all of France is very notorious for going on strikes. Oh, yeah. Like their transportation their whole country goes on strike. Yeah. So the minute we missed our flight, the country went on strike. All the flights got canceled, trains, ships, anything you name it. Oh. So we got stranded in the airport for 2 days. We slept in the airport for 2 days on the floor. We were brushing our teeth in the bathroom. It was quite frustrating. So we were very, very stressed. Looking back at it, it's very funny because, we were like brushing our teeth in the like a lot of people were at the airport because a lot of people like got stranded, right?
Yeah.
But we were like brushing. We had like a little location with our suitcase. We were watching shows and movies for 2 days and brushing our teeth in the bathroom. So the cleaners in the morning would come and say good morning to us every morning because we were there. We were basically living in the airport.
Oh my God. When you have seen the movie Terminal, you would have connected with that person a lot, right?
Exactly.
That's scary.
But looking back at it, it was a very memorable
Question. I have to ask this. Did your brother finally attend his convocation?
He did.
So thanks for sharing this. Viewers, be careful. Don't leave your flight. So when you travel for a very long duration and also managing a full-time job, does it take a toll on your personal relationships? And is your family supportive of the travel time you spend abroad? So how's that you have been able to handle that aspect?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, I would say if I was lucky enough that I had relationships that were understanding, and they were actually, they also love to travel.
That's amazing.
So yeah. And in regards to my parents are Middle Eastern, with some old mentalities, as much as they are for a good vacation, and I've traveled with my parents too. Obviously, they do not think it's a good idea to spend all your money traveling 5 times a year.
Yeah.
So I do get that every now and then, like, are you saving enough for your future question?
Yeah.
Don't you think you traveled enough this year?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, my parents are supportive. But it's been a journey for them too. At the beginning, they just did not understand. Now coming back, and I tell them stories, and they get fascinated with all the experiences and all the experiences I have during my travels.
Yeah.
So.
Can't agree more with you. Parents' support cannot be replicated by somebody else's support. And as you said about the relationship also, right? Find the right person and you might be able to travel for a very long time.
Exactly.
So it's important for sure. Another burning issue which every social media influencer faces right now, Pegah, is online trolling. How do you cope up with that?
I was lucky enough to never actually face trolling. I don't know, maybe I didn't. I'm sure if you grow enough to an extent, I still think I would consider myself as a micro influencer account.
Yeah.
Usually accounts that are 1 million, couple of million followers, and of course, the more you're out there, the more people are going to have an opinion about you, about how you go about living your life, your posts, your captions.
Yeah.
I never had any sort of controversy. I kept my posts mostly about travel, and my captions also very neutral. Yeah. So I was lucky enough not to have that. But I do know people, I know that is a problem overall in social media. I was lucky enough that I was never targeted.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Lucky you. And at the end of the day, yeah, well, as you said, keep up the good things with you, and move on. If there is some bad stuff, you can leave that out.
Also add that the travel community is a really wonderful community.
Yeah.
And I've seen people come together to support someone if someone is being attacked or trolled on social media for an inexcusable reason.
For sure.
So yeah, I would say the travel community also is very supportive and is very close-knitted. Everyone have each other's back.
That's a valuable information. I don't know that you guys are looking after each other's back, and that's how domain works, right? You have to look after each other. So last but not the least question I have for you, I know your penchant for packing at the last moment. Is that still a habit?
That is still definitely a habit. Yeah, I cannot, for the life of me, I cannot pack ahead of time. It's just, but to be honest, I have a pack list that I repurpose every time, because most of the stuff you need usually is the essentials are the same.
Yeah.
And I do have like a first aid kit and some stuff that's pre-packed,
Yeah.
which are some of the essentials I always take with me on all the trips.
Okay.
So I do have a method to my packing.
Yeah.
There's a reason to all this madness.
Okay. Okay.
But I do love to pack last minute. But I had instances where I have left stuff behind.
Okay. Okay.
So I would say that happens too. I've lost stuff, especially with my neck pillow, which I love to have when I travel because I love sleeping on the airplane.
Yeah.
I've lost so many of them. I cannot even tell you. I just left them behind.
If anybody finds Pegah's neck pillow, now after this interview, you know who to reach out, right? That was an astounding journey, Pegah. Thanks for taking us with you on that journey. And with your interview, the biggest takeout I have taken is accumulate a lot of wealth, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about creating reminiscences for the future. So with that thought, I have to thank you. And to lighten up this chat a bit, I have two games. The first one is the rapid fire round. I will ask you a question. Whatever comes in your mind first, we will take that as an answer. The only condition is that you have to be quick, witty, and rapid.
Love it.
Choose between Europe or Asia.
Asia.
Awesome. One male celebrity you don't mind getting stranded with on a deserted island.
I think Keanu Reeves.
That's a good one. Two female friends whom you won't think a second before going on a trip.
Oh, my best friends, Sonia and Yalda.
Best food on the planet.
With food?
Yeah.
Sushi.
Sushi. I know. I knew the answer for this one, but I still had to put that out. You were quirky at his best, Pegah. You took some time for answering some of the questions, but I will still give you an 8 out of 10 on that performance.
Thank you.
And it's your lucky day. You have a chance for a redemption also because we have another game. I will join you in this game. The rules are simple. I will ask you a question. If either one of us has done that, we have to take it off our cup. Okay?
Amazing.
Okay. The first question. Taken some toiletries from hotel.
All the time.
Some stuff is really good and I don't think they would mind it, right? Like some toiletries is supposed to be taken anyways. I think so. So
by the words of Ross from France, you already paid for it.
Yeah, that's a good valid point. Travel with somebody and regretted that later. Same here, yeah. But again, you were better in this one than the rapid fire, and I will give you a 9 out of 10. So, but overall, your performance was a splendid one. With this, we come to the conclusion of the interview, Pegah. I can't thank you enough for taking out this time and starting my journey as a YouTuber. I could not have asked for a better guest than you.
Thank you, Yash. I'm so excited, and honestly, it was a pleasure, and it was so much fun doing this.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Pegah. If you want to see some awesome content, I would be posting Pegah's Instagram link below. Do follow her for amazing content. And if you like the channel, do like and subscribe. That will help us to get more great people like Pegah on this channel. With that, I would wish you a great journey ahead, Pegah. Have a great day ahead, and hopefully we will be meeting up in person soon.
I'm sure we will. Thank you so much, Yash.
Thank you, Pegah. Thank you.